And welcome back, all. This is PlayStation MVP Cast episode 26. I am Michael Vash, 7886, and tonight I am joined by the one writer.
Assassin's Creed.
Every week. I am also joined by That Gamer.
Hello.
That is the most words he'll say during the entire show.
Yep.
And making his PlayStation MVP Cast debut is McKillers.
Yes. I'm a virgin to this.
And so I'll go on and remind you guys
my
live.
first time, baby.
I'm going to remind you guys live on the air because we are live. Let's try to avoid the swearing just a little bit.
Yes.
I can obviously edit it out, but we're live, so if you do it, it's your own fault. But
PG. Yeah.
Exactly. So let's go on and jump into our highlights tonight. We got Destiny 2 being worked on. Developers of Witcher 3 are giving away a lot of DLC. And the Mass Effect Trilogy for PS4, ? Some interesting stuff tonight. So for game video, which I'm about to switch on in just a minute here, I want to get to a specific topic first. We have the crew beta and how to survive the demo. And I also did manage to capture a little bit of Tomorrow Children Alpha today. I'm not sure it's going to be super interesting just because I had no idea what I was doing. But anyway, we can at least check that out and see what you guys think. And we're going to jump right into what have you been doing. So, That Gamer, what have you been doing?
This week, not much because of Call of Duty.
You've been playing Call of Duty. Hint, hint.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah, pretty much I finished the actual survival co-op missions.
Oh, nice. I still need to play. I haven't even played those.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I just haven't played them. But
Yeah.
have you played the campaign then?
Yeah, I finished it this week as well.
Oh man, how was it?
It was pretty decent. It was better than the Ghost story.
Oh man, I think anything's better than Ghost anyway.
That's true.
I mean, from the bit I've played, it seems pretty decent. The set pieces are decent. I mean, it's always going to have those big set pieces, but from the bit I've played, it does sound like it's pretty solid so far. I haven't just stopped and seen if enemies keep respawning like they normally do. That's what really got on my nerves in Modern Warfare 2.
There's some parts where enemies just keep on coming.
Okay. Yeah, see, that's annoying to me, but we'll see. I mean, so far I've liked it okay, but I really think I've gotten to play that some too, and I got to play a decent bit of the multiplayer. I think I made it to level 21. I haven't played overly much, but everybody's been complaining about lag. It hasn't been that awful for me. I've definitely noticed some times where I'm like, yeah, that guy should have died, or I don't know how I lived, or something like that. But
With that guy running the wall.
Actually, I haven't seen too much of rubber banding or anything, honestly.
Okay, good.
I must have just been getting lucky, or maybe I was the host most of the time. Maybe I was the one rubber banding. I don't know, but it's gone pretty decently for me. So it's hard for me to really comment on all the craziness of the lag. What about you, McKillers? What have you been up to?
I have been covering a Last of Us tournament for multiplayer on Reddit. So I'm a member of the Reddit community at it's like reddit.com/r/Last of Us factions, and we have 33 teams signed up for this multiplayer tournament, and I cover it. I guess commentate the games.
Are they streaming them or something?
It depends on where I can get them. A lot of people just send me the YouTube links.
Gotcha.
And then I just kind of recast them over. Now
Gotcha.
the video quality is kind of sucky, but
Yeah, because you have to basically rip it from YouTube.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's definitely tough. And it also depends on what they're using to capture and all that kind of stuff. So definitely a tougher thing to do. But yeah, that's why I'm really liking my my Elgato HD60. I picked that up. The Tomorrow Children actually is one of the things I recorded with that, so you'll get to see a little bit of that. But it seems to be doing pretty well so far. I'm actually kind of curious what the C985 from Avermedia is like, because since it's an internal card, I'm wondering if there's a reduced video lag, but
So we got true 60 frames per second with that piece of hardware.
Yeah, I believe so. I haven't tested it out a whole lot yet. I just haven't had the time. Maybe this week, since I do have some spare time, as opposed to normally with the day off tomorrow. So,
Mhm.
but you'll have to. Think I think I encoded the video at 30 FPS tonight, just because there's really not much point in encoding at 60 at the moment. I don't know if my connection actually would handle it. Probably, but I don't know. But yeah, it's supposed to be 60 FPS. I just haven't actually got the chance to really test it. But I do know when I took the video and put it into my video editor, it did come up and say something about 60 FPS, I believe. So it does look like it's actually reading it that way. Of course, the thing is, most games don't really run at 60 FPS at the moment, so it's kind of hit or
Hard to
miss, I
tell.
guess.
Yep.
Yeah. But go ahead.
MVP cast video.
Oh yes, that's starting in just a second actually, because I've been waiting to get to one more topic after our drop here, which
Okay,
is what
okay.
we're going to talk about after you go. What have you had going on, Ryder?
Well, recently I swapped from AT&T to Time Warner, so if I drop out, I'm sorry. It's kind of buggy because I did it myself. But I am near the finish line of getting my platinum for Wolfenstein, so I should be jumping to Shadow Warrior probably sometime this week.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as for me, I actually went back and watched Video Game High School Season 2 and Season 3, what they have out so far, just because I had kind of forgotten about the show after I saw Season 1, so I went back and checked that out. That's if you're a fan of games, that's a humorous show. There's some really funny moments, and there's some really cool stuff they do in it, too. But yeah, I've watched most of that, and then I did play a little bit of the Tomorrow Children Alpha and played some crew beta over the weekend, which we'll be talking about in just a moment, and a couple other things here and there, mostly Call of Duty, I think last week, but tonight, of course, I think at 11 o'clock I get to start messing around with Halo, and then tomorrow I'm picking up Assassin's Creed, and I'm off, so it's gonna be a really busy day tomorrow despite being off. But speaking of tomorrow, let's look at what we have coming out this week. So the aforementioned Assassin's Creed Unity. Of course, you also have Assassin's Creed Rogue on PS3. Digimon All-Star Rumble on PS3. Get Off My Lawn. That's Ryder's game right there.
That's a free-to-play title, by the way.
Oh, it is free to play? Okay.
Yep.
That's on Vita. Lego Batman 3 Beyond Gotham. It's on everything. That I don't know. I'm at one point I'm kind of curious about the game because I hear about what they're saying about it, but at the same time it's a Lego game, which I feel like are kind of, if you've played one, it's kind of hard to keep playing them in my opinion. I mean, it's kind of like a Dynasty Warriors game. If you keep playing them over and over and over, you're going to get sick of them. So I kind of have to spread the Lego titles out a bit. Nano Assault Neo X. That'll be a good twin stick for some people.
That game, just pause for a second. That game is pretty. If you know the history of the company who's making it, they made Iridian, they made Nanostray for pretty much. They've been mostly only on Nintendo platforms,
Yeah,
and
we
that
talked about
is the
this last week.
first time ever they're on a PS, like a platform besides Nintendo.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, and
I'm going to be doing an info thread on that later on tonight, so people can check it out.
Yeah, and their games generally receive pretty good reviews, so I'll be curious to see how this one turns out.
Yep.
Pro Evolution Soccer 2015 on PS4 and PS3, Retro City Rampage DX, PS4, PS3, and PS Vita. I'm not sure what the DX is actually for.
I don't know either, but
story-
at least it's cross-buy.
Remastered DX version includes both the story mode of open world adventure and an arcade mode for quick pickup and play. Yeah, it looks like that. I'm wondering if you get that from buying the original, though. I bet not. So I guess they're kind of out of luck.
It doesn't even say cross-buy either, so who knows?
It does say three-way cross-buy on
It does?
on the yeah, but that's for DX. I don't know if that counts if you bought the other one or not.
Okay.
Ring Run Circus on Vita. No idea what that one's about. Sinran Kagura Bon Appetit. It returns like a month after it came out, and you know, causes more controversy, I'm sure. Terraria PS4 edition, and you'll also see a Lego Batman 3 demo and a Terraria demo.
I wonder if
PS4.
Terraria is cross-buy, since you can get the PS3 and the Vita version.
It does not say it is.
I know.
Usually they tend to try to state that, and I would think with all the news we've had about it lately, we would have found that, but I guess not.
Yep. Guess not.
But and they also said it was something about it's getting bigger worlds and all this kind of stuff too. So I don't know. So we're watching some of the crew footage right now, and I know Ryder and I got to spend some time with the beta over the weekend. So let's take a minute and just talk about that. What are your thoughts, Ryder, after getting to play a decent amount of the beta?
I'll have to say that I was a little worried. A lot of people said that the game was very much like as if they pulled the Watch Dogs driving mechanics and pulled it into like a driving game, like a la like Grand Theft Auto and Midnight Club. But let me think. I was playing it and kind of find out the controls are kind of difficult. You're pretty much sliding the whole time, and the only way to fix it, I was told, is if I go to hardcore mode, because when you first play the game, they have all, I want to say, driving assist on, but kind of makes the game even worse to control. And then when you turn it all off and go to hardcore mode, it actually controls a lot better. I would say, at times, would you say, Mike, that you can kind of get lost because that blue line is not the best GPS?
Yeah, and I mean, well, I'm not as worried about that because if there's enough complaints about that, then they'll fix that. That's something they can fix pretty easily.
Yeah.
But yeah, it definitely needed a little tweaking, that's for sure. Because sometimes it would just not appear. It is kind of awkward, yes. I get what they were trying to do. They're trying to put it, they're not trying to make you look at the map and all that kind of stuff. I get that part, but it did make it a little on the awkward side. But yeah, like you, I did feel the handling was quite loose. It felt like a lot of people have said it felt like driving on ice or something like that, or you're a floating cloud or something like that on ice. And I also heard the hardcore thing. I had to turn my sensitivity all the way up and my dead zone all the way down, and that seemed to help a little bit. If you guys recall, forever ago I mentioned I played in the original PC beta, and I felt that was really, really floaty. This seemed a little tighter actually, but I didn't get to try hardcore mode. I actually tried to power up the beta this afternoon to try it out, but it was already over, so I didn't just get the chance. But it's like you turn on hardcore mode and you do a couple other minor things, and it seems to control a lot better. Though I hear it's still a bit like you're kind of floating on ice. So, it definitely the driving is not to my taste. I did kind of get used to it though. I mean, it felt kind of okay after a while, but it's still a little on the rough side as a recommendation for me.
So
just based on that beta.
So do we want to talk about the locations and how inaccurate they are?
Oh yeah, so I know I was well, I wasn't really ranting. I was just saying, hey, this is kind of weird. Because I was driving around Nashville and I'm like, yeah, I've been here. There's no scuba shops downtown, and I had seen like three different of the same scuba shop, like right in a row. There were two right beside each other, and then there was another one like just around the block. And I'm like, yeah, we're a landlocked state, guys. That's not something we have here. And then and it said like Scuba, Florida or something, and I'm like, why in the world would they have that in anywhere but Florida? But whatever. And then we got on a party chat after that, and somebody else was like, man, this Detroit's very inaccurate. I go there all the time. And I'm like, so I don't expect them to get like every little detail right, just because that would take forever. But it would be nice if they hit some of the highlights for the cities they're mentioning by name. But it just looks kind of weird to go into Nashville and saw what I saw. So
saw Detroit.
Yeah, and well, like I say, somebody who's said they were looking at Detroit and they had been there quite a bit, and they said it was kind of odd. I think they also said Las Vegas, like they had the casinos or whatever in the right order, the hotels or whatever. I don't remember which one they were talking about in particular, but they said all those were in the right order. They just weren't nearly as close as they had them in the game. So I mean, they did pay attention to some details, but it looks like they just didn't focus very much on some of the other cities.
And there's like cool landscape areas where you hit certain, I want to say cones, certain cones in the map, and you get to see some cool like panning views with the camera. Especially if it's a high mark, like a well-known spot that you know of. But it doesn't mean that it was accurate. It's just that they're kind of close. Like Mike was saying through Pirate Chat, there's one guy, he said that the landmark was there, but there was a lot of features that were around it that were missing.
Yeah, that was another thing I heard. But and I'm okay with that if they actually have the landmarks. I don't expect them to render, the entirety of all the cities, but it was kind of odd how they did stuff. But I will say that they go ahead.
What was that?
Isn't it a really huge world? Doesn't it take a long time to drive from coast to coast?
That's what I was actually about to say. Is they do have a very, very big world. Like driving from one spot to another can take quite a while, depending on how far you're going.
I think certain reports say that you can drive from one side of the coast to the other in 2 hours.
That sounds a little high to me. Granted, I have not tried. Are you saying like New York to LA, or are you saying like East Coast?
No. Okay. From one side of the
one corner to the other.
Yeah.
Okay. That seems a little high to me. That just, I mean, like, I'm not saying it's not going to take a while, but that just seems high. But
is it over an hour?
I don't know. I didn't get to try it, and I wouldn't begin to guess, honestly. But I can definitely see it taking 30, 45 minutes, definitely. But I don't know for sure.
And do we want to touch on the graphics a little bit? I go a little extreme with the graphics, but
yeah, they don't look the best, that's for sure.
No.
I actually think if they would have dropped the 360 version altogether and just stuck with PS4, PC, and Xbox One, that they would have probably been able to improve those. But I think their hesitance to not jump out of last gen kind of hurt them on this one, because it just doesn't look like a PS4 next gen game to me. I mean, like, even compared to something like some of the launch games, I don't feel like it was all that great looking.
And just on the record, some people on the party chat and even Mike heard me say where I kind of exaggerated it with the graphics, saying, "Oh man, this looks like PS2 graphics." But if I was to be real honest, it was almost on par with Rivals, and Rivals is not one of the best looking racing games. Mike will agree that like Forza Horizon 2 looks really good, especially for a next gen title, even though it's shared with its 360 brother. And then Drive Club looks really good as well. So those two titles alone have kind of set a new bar of how next gen should actually look like in regards to racing games. And then we're given the Crew, and you're like, it's kind of jarring a little bit. And Mike will, I think everyone in the group can agree that, like, we're not graphics persons. We like our graphics, and there's a lot that we can actually endure just fine. But this one, I don't know. It's like as if what Mike said, where they kept one foot in past gen and tried to put the other foot in the other, and middle ground. But it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, and it's like, it just seems very inconsistent to me.
Yeah.
In some scenes, like, the car models look really good, like when you're coming out of the garage or something like that. But then when you actually get to the game, that's where it looks a bit off. And like, it's not like looking awful or anything. It just doesn't really shine like a PS4 game normally does,
And that's what I try to mean.
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like there's some stuff here. It's just, I'd have to really see where they're going with the game, and the fact that they're talking about the the season pass and all that kind of stuff already, and whatnot. I'd really have to see what they do to kind of tweak the game. Because it does look like if they have a decent amount of content, it does look like you'd have a lot to do. It's just depending on
Yep.
how empty the map is.
Should I buy this game?
Ooh, very tricky question. I don't know that I'd pull the trigger at full price.
Nope.
What's it worth?
35,
give me-
40.
I would say $34.
I think at the
Yep.
outside.
$34 game. On the
30,
money?
$35 to $40.
Yep.
I think at the outside. It just kind of, I don't know. Like I say, if they do some things and tweak a lot with an update or something, then I could probably change my mind. But it's just really hard for me to recommend it at full price, just because of unless you're super into racing and we're super excited for this, then maybe I could kind of understand it. I know personally I'm taking advantage of the gamer club unlocked or whatever this week. So if you can pick it up for like $48, it might be worth looking at, especially if you pre-ordered and are getting like a $10 gift card with it. But if you're not doing something like that and paying full price, that's a little on the steep side to me. And I think the video just restarted, so we're gonna switch to something else. But good timing there. So we have a sneak peek at the PlayStation Plus titles coming up, Ryder. What is the deal with this?
For the first time ever, Sony has given a sneak peek of their PlayStation Plus titles of the future, more so for PS4 owners, and the selection for December and January are quite surprising for those who only want big game release titles. December houses Injustice: Gods Among Us, the Ultimate Edition, and Secret Ponchos for anyone who's played that at E3 and a couple of events. It's a really good game. While the month of January gets PS4 owners Infamous First Light, which only just recently came out a little while ago, and The Swapper, which I'm still playing, and it's a pretty good game.
Yeah, Flipper is very good.
Yep.
By the way, Toronto Children alpha footage on right now, by the way. Just so if you're not watching. But if you're just listening. But yeah, I'm really glad I didn't pull the trigger on First Light, because I was very hesitant based on the the fact that I was hearing there wasn't as much content as some people were expecting. But it's good to get that. I bet Gamer's mad. Gamer's very mad right now.
I know.
He's so angry.
About it.
He's beside himself.
Yeah.
And also got Injustice as well.
Yes.
You know what? There was that one sale, so I can't blame you.
Yeah.
I think it was like $8 or something like that.
Yeah, it was
Well, see,
$8 for the
Yeah,
PS4
super
edition.
cheap.
I picked it up. I picked it up for $25, but I mean that was like March or something. Like I've had it for, by the time this is out, I would have had it for nearly 10, 11 months. So I'm not really too tore up about that one. It is unfortunate that it's not something that it's basically a wasted game for me though. But I'm not overly crushed on that one.
What about Infamous First Light? You kind of excited for that one?
I'm glad to finally get to try it, but I mean,
Yep.
It's not something like I don't think I would have picked it up anyway, just because of what I've heard about it. But it's good to have, I guess. I might have picked it up if it eventually went on sale.
Is anyone else excited for these titles besides me and Mike?
We'll probably
Killer's
give
just hyped.
the Secret Poncho a try. I've been looking
okay.
forward to that.
Yeah, Secret Ponchos is
The Injustice, I've already got that.
Oh, you do? What about Infamous First Light?
Infamous, I don't know. I'm getting some connection issues right now, actually. I've got the Injustice game. It's going to be kind of like set up for Mortal Kombat X. Just kind of getting the fighting rhythm back in. Secret Poncho I haven't played.
Secret Ponchos haven't played. Okay.
But the DLC's pretty good. We got it? Am I losing you?
Yeah, a little
No,
bit.
you're good.
Yeah.
Cutting out just a little bit. But yeah, I'm curious to see what they're bringing for Vita and PS3 in those months as well. Obviously, I keep an eye out for Vita sales and stuff right now with the PlayStation TV.
And for those who are wondering, on the PlayStation blog, certain people were asking the same thing about. So if this is for PS4 owners, what are PS3 and Vita owners? Are they going to get, aka, kind of screwed over, or are we going to have indie games? And PlayStation, the Pushing Blog answered their question by saying that they're going to be looking at big titles as well. So expect that.
Well, yeah, and it's never been an issue with big titles on those platforms, just because there's so many big titles to choose from. Bigger titles, I guess.
So is this to appease those who were looking forward to the Drive Club PlayStation Plus version, or to settle down the ones who cry about indie titles only being given out this year for PS4 owners?
Well, no, probably not, because they're going to cry anyway. I can definitely understand the frustration on that point, though. I got to share play it, and so I ended up deciding buying it. I know Ryder said you got to share play it, right? And you were liking what you played, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, it's really sad because it appears to be a pretty fun game from the bit I've played. It's just you're having all these issues and whatnot. That's really the unfortunate part about it, because it looks like they've actually crafted a pretty good racing game. But time will tell on that. But yeah, I mean, people are just gonna rage anyway, because that you'll one little thing and they'll rage forever. So, I'm not overly concerned.
What else are they gonna do with their time?
Sorry.
They just got time. They got to rage at something.
Yep.
Oh yeah, they got to rage at something. So I mean, I guess it'll be Drive Club until that hits, and then they'll pick something else.
So is this like some sort of peace offering from Sony with these big titles, or are they just finally giving it to us?
Well, I hate to say it, but I don't really see the big titles, quote unquote. I mean, I get that it's not your typical indie games, and some people are excited about that because they don't like indie games. But Secret Ponchos is, I believe, an indie game, so I don't know what people are seeing there. Like, I want the game, and I would have bought it anyway, so I'm glad on that one. But I don't know. I don't really see these quote unquote big titles aside from, I guess, Injustice, and Infamous, I guess.
Yep. Those are the two titles that actually everybody's very excited about. If you go on the PlayStation blog and the forums, people are pretty excited for those, because a lot of people that I've been reading didn't buy First Light, and the majority said that they're not really into fighting games, so getting Injustice Gods Among Us for free was kind of maybe a slightly big deal.
Yeah, I mean, if you didn't have it, that's good. I mean, it's a good thing, definitely. But I mean, this particular lineup doesn't really do. I wasn't upset to begin with, so it doesn't really do anything different for me. I mean, Gamer is thrilled, but I just can't let you guys know that.
His titles for that month will be The Swapper and Secret Ponchos. And if he wants, he can sell back Gods Among Us. Wait, never mind, that's digital. He can sell back. Nope, can't do that either.
I can't sell back at all.
I mean,
digitals.
With First Light, at least it wasn't a full price game, because that would have really that would have made some people very mad. At least it is the standalone DLC. But
yeah, I don't think I would have bought it for full price.
Yeah, it wasn't designed to be that way, so I don't think anybody would have. But Killzone is turning 10. It's a very violent game for a 10-year-old, though, I gotta say.
Alright, people. The Killzone series has hit its 10-year anniversary on PlayStation. And to celebrate it, Season Pass owners get 2 new co-op maps, 2 new character skins, 2 new owl skins, 2 new voice packs, 2 new multiplayer icon packs, and 1 new crosshair and the new crosshair customization, and the new Academy multiplayer map.
I'm thinking the Academy is actually going to be for everybody, by the way.
I think they said that's going to be free across the board from everyone. Yeah. So, can you guys believe it's been 10 years since Killzone launched?
I can. I remember, the first ever commercial I watched for Killzone, the coolest thing was that you can get behind cover. And if that's the case, then yeah, I would think that it is 10 years old.
Yeah, and it's you know I
Is
never
anyone
got
else?
to
By somebody.
I never got to play the original, but I mean you know I did get into Killzone 2 a decent bit. You know, Killzone 3 kind of took a step back in my opinion, but they had some cool stuff. But yeah, I mean, it was really Killzone 2 to me was really like I mean, from the opening video, it's just kind of a game that grabbed me for a little while there because like I still love that opening scene with I think it's Brian Cox as Vasari and like the graphics in that are just awesome, especially for the time. Even
Yep.
now, like I still think they look
It still
great.
looks great.
You know, and none of that. That's all in game except for the you know the transition to the planet. That's like the only thing. But I mean, just the propaganda speech he's making is just. I mean, even like I'm not a Helgas fan. I'm like, man, this is a truly epic speech. Because I mean, he's talking about you know shattering dreams, haunting nightmares. I mean, all this other stuff. It's awesome. I mean, and I'll probably actually go back and watch that after this cast, just because you know it keeps. I keep wanting to see it, and it's just a really awesome moment. I wish the series could kind of bring some of that back. It was, you know, I think something like that is missing from a lot of games in general, though. Not just you know Killzone, but just a lot of games. I feel like it truly took that epic scale and just kind of you know added something to the mix that you don't often see.
So has everyone played all the games?
I have not played a single Killzone game.
I stopped.
Sin. Shame on you.
That
It's
cover, that
yeah,
cover mechanic wasn't cool enough, I guess.
It wasn't. No, not for like middle school me when I didn't have the income quite to purchase that
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah. The multiplayer I know is it's a pretty niche crew that plays multiplayer. I don't think it's like a giant multiplayer, or maybe it's grown in the last few years.
I think
You know?
Shadowfall is doing a bit better than the others. It's hard for me to tell really because I haven't got the chance to really play it much. But yeah, 2 and 3 were definitely more a niche title, and but yeah, I think they really changed things around with Shadowfall. Some of the longtime fans were like, this is not what I want.
Going more
Yeah.
mainstream with the stuff.
Yeah,
Sorry?
they've been changing a whole lot, and especially with people who still own the game, you'll notice that they're always giving away content, and even though they do have a season pass, a lot of the content that's DLC or add-ons or whatever, the majority of it's free, which is crazy because shooters don't give away free things.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, most DLC isn't free anyway. But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's a good idea. They did that specifically to keep the community together because I think they felt like with Killzone 2 and 3, all the map DLC. Like I thought it was cool, but obviously not everyone's gonna buy that. So you do kind of separate your community and you can fracture it at times. I know Warhawk was really bad about that. Like virtually no one bought the DLC that I know of. And so I mean it was really cool DLC too, but nobody bought it. So it was really hard to actually get some people playing that. But yeah, I think it was a good move for them to do all the maps for free. That way you keep the community together. And then they've added some other stuff like the co-op mode.
Yeah.
That's for season pass owners and some other customizations and stuff like that. But yeah, I think they made some good moves on that.
Yeah.
I mean, does everyone still own Shadowfall and gonna possibly enjoy this epicness for these DLC pack?
Yeah, I mean, I do. I don't generally trade games in as a matter of a rule of thumb, with the rare exception. But it's I still need to go back and actually try out some of the co-op. I just haven't had the chance. It's been so busy as of late, especially.
Same here.
I will go out tomorrow and I will buy Shadowfall.
Ooh.
I will download the hell out of those owl customization items.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Is that right? What is it? What is the difference between an owl customization and a character customization? That was
the owl's your little like they introduced a like a not a robot like a personal drone type thing, and so it can like shield you. It can do some other stuff, and
It
that's
can
what
fire
the owl
for
is.
you.
Yeah, it just depends on I think what you have equipped for your class. But they got some interesting stuff for it. You can give this big shield and stuff like that, and it can be quite useful as long as you know how to use it properly.
Mm.
I'm guessing that gamer doesn't have Killzone.
I still do. It's just in the
Okay.
download list at the moment.
He does though. He deleted it. Basically, is what he's saying.
Yeah, I had to make room.
Not worth the space in the hard drive.
Yeah, the install file on that one was actually really big too. I think it was 47 gigs or something,
Yep.
plus whatever
Pretty big game.
DLC. So, Share Play and Call of Duty are not playing well, Ryder.
Yeah. Well, with people recently finding out Call of Duty Advanced Warfare having SharePlay not working with it, it was later confirmed by Sony that SharePlay can be disabled or particular scenes by developers. Shocker. What do you guys think about developers having the ability to block SharePlay from their games?
Yeah, I never understood why people actually thought that they wouldn't have access. I mean, I think Sony did say at one point that yes, every game will work with it, but I mean, technically, Call of Duty will work with it. It's just Activision's decided, or Activision or Sledgehammer, whoever it was, decided that they wanted to block the entire game. I mean,
Yep.
I can kind of understand it if it was something like the ending of a game or some crucial story moment or something like that. And I think it was either Sledgehammer or Activision came out with an official statement saying that, we're going to look at this, but we haven't, since 2.0 just launched, a week
they just
before,
recently got the tools.
they did not, or actually the week before, they didn't really want to throw it out there and say, hey, let's throw all our games on SharePlay and have it be an awful experience. So they just didn't want to hamstring an experience that without knowing how it was going to work. So that's their reasoning. Now, whether you buy it or not, that's up to you. But I mean, I can kind of understand that. Activision is a company that really likes to keep things a specific way, so I can kind of understand what they're saying. But I would wonder if it's actually ever gonna be turned on.
SharePlay is for smaller games, I would think. I mean, it's not for... If you're an independent developer, you would absolutely want people to play your game if you're a smaller guy. But if you make Call of Duty, you know what Call of Duty is. I mean, everybody knows what Call of Duty is. So I don't know... Why would you SharePlay it unless it's a...
I mean, but isn't SharePlay a sort of advertising feature technically? I mean, why would a developer even bother blocking it?
Like I say, I can understand because they do seem to be very controlling on what they have. I can kind of understand it from that aspect, but at the same time, I guess they don't want it to. I don't know. I guess they don't want people to log on to somebody's account and to co-op with them or something like that. I don't know.
I mean, especially since a lot of people have some sort of stigmatism against Call of Duty Ghosts, you would think that, oh, you know what, we're going to SharePlay this. You can get a little taste of it, and kind of see that it's better. You should go buy it. I mean, SharePlay. I mean, it could help sales for those companies with potential customers who are on the fence. So I don't know.
I disagree. I think it would alienate casual gamers. I mean, it's like, if you are only going to play for like an hour at a time, then why would you buy the game? And then I think that a demo would do enough justice for a game of that size. Now, if an independent and a smaller game, that's a little bit different, I think.
But I think that's the whole entire thing about SharePlay. It technically, that's why they have that limit where it's only an hour. There's some people who are, of course, are going to maybe abuse it, but it kind of gives, like, your friend, it's like, I don't know about Call of Duty. Call of Duty's been the same every year. I don't really care about it. And your friend could be like, well, I'll SharePlay it. You can give it a try, and then you can make your, I don't know, decision then. Like for instance, Drive Club. Drive Club is a big title. It's not independent or anything. And if people, like, I had a couple of my friends SharePlay it for me, and you know what? My view on that game is very different and I'm more than likely made by the game if they ever fix it. But SharePlay does have its bonuses. Like it doesn't have to just be independent.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I was getting at when I was talking about Drive Club and my experience. Because I mean, I did share play with somebody, and granted their graphics weren't all that amazing on the share play stream, but I could still play it pretty well. Like I wasn't having super lag or anything. It was for the most part very playable, and it did seem fun. So I went ahead and bit the bullet and picked it up. And I was getting that would have pushed me over the thing to get the $15 limit anyway. So I was basically getting the game for $35 at that point. So it's kind of difficult not to go out on a limb on that one at that point to me. But and that I would not have bought the game without SharePlay in that instance until they released the demo, which who knows at that point I may no longer have been interested, or it's hard to tell because there are so many games coming out at this point, and it just gets tomorrow, next week, and then the end of next week. It's crazy. So
and just to bounce off of what you said, like if someone didn't share play Drive Club with me, I probably would have just forgot about it. And the only reason I haven't picked it up is because I know there's still problems. So I'm gonna wait until they fix everything. But if share play wasn't there, I probably would never picked it up.
Yeah, it definitely. And I'm expecting there's going to be more people that have had that happen as well. I'd be curious. In fact, I may do an informal poll at some point, but just to see what I can find out. But yeah, the I can kind of see what you're saying with Killers, and I can kind of also see what Ryder's getting at as well. Because I wasn't super sold on Call of Duty. I decided to give it a shot just based on what I was seeing from gameplay. Like a lot of comments I was seeing from commentaries and stuff were like, it's still Call of Duty. I'm like, kind of, but it doesn't really look as much like it. Like my biggest thing about Call of Duty is camping, and so with the new movement powers, it's actually a lot more difficult to do that. It's people can jump at you from basically anywhere, so it's a lot harder to camp.
Gotcha, gamer.
Yeah, gamer, watch out. You better put those marshmallows away.
Pack up my tent.
Yeah, pack up your tent, and and get those horseshoes out of the way because it's a lot harder to camp now. And it's really changed things because they've also made the maps more vertical. You can jump around them like you're a crazy person. It's surprising how different the game actually feels with that movement system in place, even though most of the rest of it is very similar. It doesn't hurt that the new engine looks really good on next gen, surprisingly. So, I mean, I would wonder if there would be some people like Ryder that that said, "Hey, this looks kind of the same. I don't know if I really want to buy it," and their friends like, "Oh, well, let me share play this." But to be fair,
I do agree on the indie things as well.
Oh yeah, that definitely helps spread the word. But I was also going to say, I think they've already said it outsold Ghost, and it outsold like Destiny, Wolfenstein, and something else combined. I can't remember what the other thing is. So I don't think it's really a priority for them right now to actually get the share play going.
I'm sure their advertising campaign did enough work for them.
Yeah.
Maybe if they allowed it, it would target people like me, and I have a disdain for Call of Duty. But I feel like for every person like me that I would try it, maybe share playing off of your PlayStation, maybe lose 2 to 3 people. It's a younger demographic, I think, with that game. So maybe they don't have the income. Maybe they're middle school me, right? And they can't afford to buy it, and they're waiting for maybe Christmas to come around so the parents can buy it.
That's possible too. Yeah.
Yep.
But I
point.
Yeah, it's there's definitely points on both sides. It's just I just don't know if they're too concerned right now because of how well it's generally doing. So, but yeah, I would be curious to see if we ever see an update on that actually. And and like I said, I'm actually really surprised at how different it does feel. And I've been saying it felt like the same game since Modern Warfare 1 basically, and that was basically the same as Call of Duty 4. So. Yeah. So, Destiny.
With the lack of camping, does it feel like a spaghetti junction with everybody having to run around with the movement system? Like with the lack of camping, is it just a crazy madhouse of cocaine and other
People
things?
run around like crazy.
At
Yeah.
I think some maps kind of do feel like that, but other maps I don't as much. Like, you know, there'll still be people getting some kill streaks and stuff like that. It's not like it's always, you know, 1 or 2 kills and then you die, 1 or 2 kills and then you die. There's still, like, I think they added some verticality in there too, so there's still places you can kind of get away with stuff, especially if you're using, like, a silenced weapon. Something that I feel like they kind of underplayed, actually, are the perks. Like, most of them aren't all that amazing. I just generally use stuff to keep me off the radar, because whenever you're doing like a double jump or a dash or something like that, unless you have a specific perk on, you're going to show up on the radar. So you know, I think a lot of people are going to end up running that, and that's probably going to be a requirement for most on all their classes. And you get that pretty early, so I don't doubt that most people will be running that. But yeah, I don't feel like it's overly crazy for the most part. I've been sticking with team deathmatch generally, so I don't think it's been overly awful. There are definitely some times where it gets a little crazy, though. But
It's not like they spawn like right behind your shoulder. I know that's what it was in Ghost. At least I heard the complaint of that. Is that people would spawn right behind you.
I have not actually, like, I haven't played overly much, but I haven't had as many spawn issues as I feel like past Call of Duty games have had. What about you, Gamer? You've probably played more than I have.
Yeah, there's times where you actually spawn in front of an enemy.
Yeah, I'm sure that still happens,
Yeah.
but yeah,
It's
I
very
don't.
occasional at this moment.
Yeah, so it doesn't feel as frequent then.
Nah.
That's a good thing.
That's
I
good.
think I've had it happen maybe once that I recall, where I seem to spawn right in front of an enemy. But yeah, I think they've alleviated that to an extent. But
That is pretty good.
it does make it more difficult just of how fast people can move, though. Like, you know, what took, you know, 10 seconds to get across NAT before is a lot quicker now. So that's definitely something they'll have to kind of tweak.
So you're saying don't play this if you have epilepsy? Like you just it seems like it seems, and I've seen some of the streams. It's like people are just moving so fast, and people have invisibility too in this game.
Yeah, but it's usually pretty obvious. It doesn't last that long.
Mm-hmm.
It's honestly, I didn't think any of the exo abilities were all that great anyway. I probably actually will see if there's another perk. I actually generally turn them off and pick something else. At least that's what I've been doing lately, just because I don't feel like they don't last long enough or anything like that. I think actually the speed perk is probably one of the better ones, or the mute, where you can mute your footsteps. But
Meh.
yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah.
So, what is this about Destiny 2, Ryder?
All right.